All right, welcome back for what is episode 5 in our Between Two Clutches series. We're going to chat, hopefully, with the guys at VMP. We've worked with them for quite a while and really enjoy working with them. They're always helpful and they usually have something good going on. So let's see. Let's see if Chuck will come in. Chuck, you there?
I am here, Geoff. Thanks for having me.
I would almost say, you look better from that distance, but
That's
that could
that is a backhanded compliment, but we take those. So
we take them all day long. Good Lord. So what do you guys got going on down there? Anything new, exciting, or?
yeah, we've got some new exciting things going on here. The 3.1, we got our new blower coming out, which is obviously a big deal. We've got some other parts coming out for like the 2020 GT500 and Hellcats, Focuses, whatever you name it. We've been working on them. So some exciting stuff. It's been a big year for us. Best year in company history and looking bright for 2021 too.
Yeah, it's nuts. I mean, everybody in the industry is up. I've probably said that in every video with everybody I've talked to, but it really is kind of a neat time. But yeah, being being of the Mopar persuasion, I'm definitely excited for you guys to kind of lean a little more in that direction. But yeah, you guys have done just great with us. I know we did. We've got another centered iron triple in a car down there. I know Track Attack is running our triple.
Oh yeah. So Track Attack's kind of like our flagship car. It was in the Ford booth in SEMA 2017, and it was actually a dollar car that we got. I'm sure a lot of people watch this have probably at least seen the car if they don't know much about it, but I've at least seen it. So it's actually got a Predator engine in it. It's the world's first, the world's only Predator swap Mustang, and so it's got the 5.2. Doesn't have the factory blower anymore. It's got an Odin on it now, one of our VMP blowers, but it's actually it's backed by a triple disc Mantic clutch. A lot of people have driven that car. A lot of people don't know that it's not the stock clutch. So that's a pretty good testament to you there.
That's what I like to hear. So I like the fact a lot of people have driven it and the clutch hasn't come back yet. So that's a very good sign right there. So
Well, like honestly, the most impressive thing to me is the car's made as much as 1150 wheel on a previous setup. It's made about 1100 on the current Predator engine, but it's made over 1150 on a previous setup with that triple disc in there on a stock MT82. Stock,
wow.
yeah, stock 17 engine to MT82, and we've never done a single. We didn't even change the oil on that transmission. It is from the factory. It has had, I couldn't even guess, probably 250 to 300 dyno pulls at least, and quite a few street hits.
Wow. You guys got really lucky on the MT82 lottery right there. Good God.
Yeah, it's a one of a kind. Because like I'll be the first to kind of not be a big fan of the MT82. They're not known for being stout transmissions, but I don't know. I have to say, like, it's probably been the clutch that's kept it alive, and then maybe a little bit of good graces from Ford.
Putting a lot of weight on my shoulders right there.
Oh yeah, if it does go out, it's totally your fault.
Oh yeah, nice. So I'm glad that's in the open because I mean, okay, listen, people, just send all the angry emails directly. Um, I think, I think sadly, I think the MT82 just kind of suffered a. I think it was just kind of a material thing. I mean, they seem um, whenever the internals have been beefed up, with the exception of the unicorn you guys have that apparently has kryptonite floating around inside it. Um, some basic material mods seem to make them pretty stout, or at least have them hold up pretty well. But yeah, we've had a lot of customers come our way with that exact concern, and I'm like, well, yeah, our stuff is nice and smooth, but a billion foot pounds is still a billion foot pounds, and if I hold it, that's great. It just means the fuse has moved from the clutch to the trans. We'll do the best we can, but
Yeah,
yeah,
I think there's also some credit to it as far as how, like, so, like, I don't know if the Gen 2 MT82 had all the problems with like input shafts. I know the Gen 1s definitely did. And I know that the clutch actually made a big difference on how long those input shafts survived. And I think that there's something to be said about how a clutch engages, and you can change a lot of different things, especially when you go into like multiple discs, as far as how much, how the torque gets delivered to the internals of that transmission from the engine. Driving habits are always going to be the most important, but
well, then there's that. We all got bad habits, Chuck. I mean, no, I mean, yeah, you got to look at it from the engineering side. Duty cycles are duty cycles, and if there's constant shock over time, it's going to have an effect. But no, I'm thrilled it's worked well. I'm thrilled to be a part of that project. So that's great.
I know we've got one of your iron clutches in Grant Twilley's GT500, which is like it's a Gen 3R. It's a nitrous car, actually. I think that car turned up on nitrous makes 1250 or 1300. That's got your clutch in it. He's anything but kind to the car. It's Grant. Grant's a good friend of mine, actually, and he beats the absolute hell out of the car. And the transmission and the engine, and especially the clutch, are all every time he lines up at the beams, they're all at risk. And so far, so good. So, but I think it's important to note, like, I don't want to set the wrong expectation for any customer like watching this. Like, yeah, I'm going to put this clutch in my stock GT500, and we have a clutch. You guys have a clutch for that. You guys have a clutch for the guy making 600-700 wheel. This one's not it, but the fact that you can have a car that makes 1300 and drives like it does is pretty incredible to me.
Yeah.
And like, I've driven a ton of cars. I'm not trying to cut you off, but I've driven a ton of cars. I've driven a ton of high horsepower manual trans cars, and I've worked with other clutch manufacturers on stuff like that. And I mean, I have to say, if you're looking for drivability that's still going to hold the power, I haven't seen anything do as well as Mantic.
Right on, man. Well, I appreciate that. And again, like I said before, the check is in the mail. You just fill out that little amount to what you want. That's cool. And like I said, it was, for what it's worth, it was important to me to do this with you guys, to kind of have some content and just, kind of share with everybody. Hey, we've been working together for a while, and it's been really good both ways, at least until you guys cut me off. But it seems like we're running strong, so why not? But yeah, it's funny, you kind of like, I think you said it best, when the front tires strip the lights, everything has just become at risk. And
yeah,
we try to do real well as far as supporting our street customers and our racing customers as well. There's always that caveat of something can probably go wrong, but we do try to cover and take. We've got another guy he's been with us for 3 or 4 years, Mr. Dan Watts, up in mile stomping grounds of Ohio. He had the IRS record a couple times this year with our clutch. So, I'm thrilled with that. I did a similar deal with him, did a twin-centered iron for him. I think it's his next move. So, but hey, we need to get with you guys too. That new, what is it? The new Mach 1 package is coming out. I want to get my paws on that. I from what I can tell, I think it's going to be a real similar setup to what we have for the GT350s right now. I think it's a GT350 Trans with the 5.0, correct?
Yeah. What is the GT350 Trans is called, like the 6550 or something like that?
I can never remember what it is, but yeah.
Yeah, so I think that I've also heard that the Mach 1 will have that same trans, which my impression is that transmissions are very good. Like, it seems to be a step over the MT82 for sure.
It is. I from the two that I've driven when we did the first install of the twin and triple, gosh, I guess that was about 4 years ago. It definitely shifts crisper. I think it's a little lighter duty than maybe it should have been, but by the same token, that's probably how Ford was able to do it at a decent price point and make it perform to what the 5.2 likes. So yeah, I from an enthusiast standpoint, I think that's going to be a real winner. And it's we always get excited when we see, hey, there's something coming out that's specifically a manual variant of whatever car. So
as these Coyote platform engines continue to just rev higher and higher and higher, how much as a clutch manufacturer do you hate that?
Between cramming a blunt object into your thigh and then falling downstairs somewhere in there. No, as I tell everybody, you take a look at the SFI ratings that come on, our products. Well, so for us to test that, we essentially send the parts, it goes in the pit, and they can spool it up to about 10 grand, which means, okay, we can certify it to 7 because we got to have some safety factor in there. Well, the problem on our end is explaining that to the customer, like, well, I'm spinning it to 82 every day. Well, you're probably okay. It's just, we can't test it. What do we have to test it to? Like 12.5 or 15? We just can't do that. SFI has, sure, they'll do it, but
right.
At some point, then it gets so expensive where it's just, we just can't do it. So yeah, hate's maybe a little strong. Challenge, pain, yeah, sure, it's in there, but it's one of those things. There's only so much you can do, and I'm sure probably within the next couple of years, I expect to see either SFI adding another cert, so that it's good for 8 or 10 or whatever. I think I might be mistaken. So again, send all the hate mail directly to. I think the 7.25 and the 5.5 stuff actually has a higher RPM rating on, but I have to look and see. Like I said, don't send the hate mail yet. Let me do my research.
I feel like we're probably a worst case scenario customer for you because we, blowers obviously love the RPM and blowers obviously make torque. What do clutches hate most? That's RPM and torque. So
usually it's torque and slipping or heat and slipping. But
right.
Yeah, you're right. No, you're right. Actually, the hardest thing for us is usually like the nitrous cars or a turbo car that sprinkles a little nitrous on top, because it's an instant shock to the system, where if the clutch is engaged, that's great, because you're probably just going to be dealing with the actual static torque of it trying to break loose.
Yeah.
You're riding it out of the hole, or you're just coming on to boost and you're still not. That's where it gets difficult for us. And I can just, yeah.
I hope I don't get in too much trouble for saying this, but you guys are definitely our trusted clutch manufacturer of choice. We build a lot of high horsepower Coyotes here, and we've never had an issue with the product. And anytime we ever had, it's always been taken care of immediately. So that's all we can really ask for,
We try, man.
Yeah, it's just like any other part. We have our own parts that we make, and we have problems with them. But what makes the difference is how the problems are resolved, and how quickly they're resolved. And we've never had an issue with you, Geoff, yet.
Well, we've had issues, but maybe not issues,
not with the product. Yeah.
Product's solid. The rest, I don't know. Nah, that's great, man. Like I said, I appreciate it. We love working with you guys, and hopefully sooner or later we'll be back down in person. It's always good to visit you guys. We took some video from there about 1.5 years ago, which was great. So, but yeah, man, I'll harass you guys again in about a month, and yeah, we'll just see what you're up to.
Bring it on.
Thanks a ton, Chuck. We'll talk to you soon, man.
Thanks, Geoff. Take it easy, bud.